Pick up join stage. Maybe I am on stage. Is this the right one? It is the right one. Hey there. Hopefully I'm live. Can you hear me? Quinn, if you hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Hey, can y'all hear me? Hi, hi. We'll wait and let some more folks get in here. I'm still trying to figure things out, so I might hit some wrong buttons. I have a very special guest. Hey, Melanated Drip. Hey, Boom. I am so happy you guys are here. Thank you so much for coming to support me. Quinn, Jala. I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys for coming to support me. This is my debut real show. So I'm super excited. We're going to get in here. We're going to talk some politics. We're going to do all the things. So you guys just bear with me. I'm waiting for my special guest. If he, is running a little behind, then we'll shoot the shit a little. But give me just a few minutes and we will be ready to rock and roll. Thank you guys so much for coming. Well, that looks like a psychotic picture of me. This made me a little smaller, so my face isn't so huge. Also, I'm still waiting for the boxing scholar. That is my very special guest who come in to chit chat with me. Let me get this chat back up here so I can see what you guys are talking about. Okay, so hey Maria, hi baby. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for some more folks come in. Hopefully, we get a nice big turnout. Let me see. So maybe we'll do like some introductory information. Hey, we the people. Hey, baby. So some introductory information about me. I think everybody pretty much knows my story here. I am retired. We live in the NCR, the National Capital Region, and I'm an old married lady. And one of the biggest passions in life is, taking care of my community. That is one of my biggest passions in life, right? So as a part of this community, I want to make sure that we're all armed with the knowledge so we can each one teach one, right? I want to make sure I'm putting productive citizens out there. I want to make sure that you guys are putting productive citizens out there. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to educate the masses on what I know. And I will always tell you, I don't know everything. And if there's something that you know that is better, please feel free to share with me. I am never too smart to learn a lesson, right? So how did I become like such a psycho with politics? And I am such a psycho with politics, right? I became such a psycho with politics because I noticed that for some reason, no matter how much we work, we are still at the bottom. We are still at the bottom, and it just seems like no matter what we do, nothing changes, right? Thank you, Melanated. And so how do we keep from being at the bottom? We got to get knowledgeable. We got to know how these other groups are able to rise to the top. We have to know what levers we can pull to make things work for us. So one of the things is to, you got to vote. You have to vote. And I know I get it. People get so discouraged because you can vote all you want and it seems like nothing changes, or whoever you vote in office isn't doing those things that they told you they were going to do on the campaign trail. And that's the thing. You got to see what they're doing. What they say all the time, it's always just, I'm going to tell you. But, I need to see your action. So I'm of the belief, I am what you would call a progressive. I am a far left progressive, right? I want everybody to have all the things, okay? I'm sick of the top 1% having everything and the bottom 99% working till we die with nothing, right? And then they come and snatch that too, because maybe you didn't pay a property tax, right? So how do you make that happen? You have to start putting people in office that actually care about the people, that want to see everybody rise, right? Right now, we have Democrats and Republicans, and the Republicans are saying this, and the Democrats are saying this. And it seems like they're all getting rich but us. And so how do we make those changes? Well, we make those changes by putting people like Mamdani in office, the guy that they just elected for mayor of New York City. He is what you would call a democratic socialist. Talisha, what is a democratic socialist? A democratic socialist is a person that wants to spread the wealth. They don't just want the top 1% to have all the money. They don't just want the middle class to have the money. They don't just want all the bottom to have the money. They want everybody to have the money. That's how you get buy-in. How do you get buy-in? What is buy-in? You notice every time they try to take away Social Security, every time they try to take away Medicare, it's to the death of them if they will ever get it out of your hands. That's because everybody benefits. When people think that, just the Blacks are getting something, or when people think just the immigrants are getting something, they don't care. They will sooner cut off their own arm to see you rise, right? But if you get all the people on board and all the people are thinking we're all going to benefit from this, then that's your best bet. So people like Mamdani, he wants to make sure nobody has to pay for childcare. So it could be the person making 6 figures, it could be the person 4 figures. But guess what? Neither one of them have to pay for childcare. Nobody has to pay for public transportation. These are God-given rights that we shouldn't have to pay for. All right. Hey, Dayla. These are things we shouldn't have to pay for, right? These are things that, should be just given. Like, I believe healthcare should be for everyone. I believe education should be for everyone. How is it that we have billions and billions of dollars to send overseas to fight other people's wars, yet we can't pay for healthcare? Babies are going hungry. People can't get an education. You have to go into debt just to become a doctor and want to heal people. You know what I mean? I had to go in the military just so I could finish my education. Well, mind you, I was a partier and I flunked out, but that's neither here nor there. My mom couldn't pay for my college, so Uncle Sam had to, right? Hey, Simply DJ Baby. And so because we want to make sure everybody has these things, you got those people that are getting paid to tell you no. And guess what? It's happening. It's happening on both sides of the aisle. People on the red side and people on the blue side, Democrats and Republicans, are being paid to tell you no. I can tell you for every Mitch McConnell, the old president of the Senate, who didn't want you to have Medicare for all, there was a Chuck Schumer, current, he's the minority whip in the Senate. He doesn't want you to have Medicare for all. Want to know why? Because big pharma and big medical are paying them not to give you anything. They're paying them to keep you so sick to keep you so poor to take out loans. You gotta finance your house to the gods. You gotta do everything just to fight cancer. Now I shouldn't have to go into medical debt because I gotten some disease that I had no control over. And even if I did have control over that disease, I should still not go into medical debt because of that. Somebody should be paying for it. You know what? Somebody is paying for it. We're paying for it. We pay for it with our taxes. I know I pay so much money out of taxes. I think I could probably fund a small country. Okay. So explain to me why people still can't get proper medical care. Please explain to me why there are homeless people. There's over 5,000 homeless vets right now. And granted, I don't want to see anybody homeless, but I damn sure don't want to see a veteran homeless because guess what? That veteran fought for my right to be on this computer right now talking the mess that I'm talking. Okay. So like I said, there's people that are being paid to shut you down, and they'll do things like don kente cloth and take a knee in the freaking Senate or in the House to make you feel like they did something. It's the symbolism. Hang on one second. Scholar wants me to drop the link. Oh God, Scholar, didn't I give you the link? I gave you the link so I wouldn't have to drop it. Let me see. Let me see what I can do. Okay. Okay, I think I did it. Hopefully that works. And welcome to Boxing Scholar. And everybody else, welcome in. Anybody that I missed coming in, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming to my debut show. That kind of threw me off a little, but I was literally saying it's the symbolism. They do symbolic gestures to make you feel like they're doing something for you, like taking a knee in the Senate as opposed to passing an anti-lynching bill, or as opposed to making sure cops can't go from job to job to job and not know that they murdered somebody at their last job. So they take a knee. Or Trump will tell people, hey, I'm going to bring back Columbus Day because it shouldn't be Indigenous Peoples Day, even though there are people in middle America that can't pay their bills. They're dying because they can't afford their diabetes medication. And oh, by the way, speaking of medication, you guys know we supplement the research and development for these drugs that they turn around and sell to us at a 300% markup. But then we have people like Cory Booker. I kept trying to call him Cory Bush all day. Cory Booker, a Democrat who says all the right things. He says all the things. I'm fighting for my people and this, that, and the other. And people shouldn't be treated differently because of this, that, and the other. He vetoed us getting our medicine from Canada. That would have been a third of the cost that we pay now. And why? Because Big Pharma is paying him. So it's literally the game is fixed on both sides of the aisle. We think that blue means good and red means bad or vice versa. Guess what? They're both bad. They both don't care about you. So really, you need to start listening to people that are telling you these America is first. And that's not to say poo-poo on any other country. That I am of the open borders variety. I think we, as the imperialist countries, we go in and we tear up people's countries. We turn our face when they try to come here for refuge. So I'm of the open border variety. However, I also believe you have to clean up your backyard before you can clean up anybody else's. So that means making sure the little girl down the street can get to school because she has a school bus. That's making sure that the young man who made straight A's can get a college education because he wants to go to school and he wants to become a doctor, but he can't afford it. That means all the things. That means that the grandma who worked her whole freaking life doesn't have to now pay a portion of the Medicare bills just so she can get life-saving treatment. So that's who we need to be listening to. That's who we need to be talking to. When they tell us that they're for the people, we need to see that in action. Okay, now the Boxing Scholar, I know you asked for the link. I don't know if you tried to come up. Not quite sure where to look if you did try to come up. There would probably be something in my backstage, correct? Make sure you're liking the video. Oh, sweet. I'm thinking, I don't know, Quinn, what would I see? I don't know, or anybody, Judge Shady, what would I know if the Boxing Scholar had come up? Like, how would I know that there was somebody like waiting to be let up? Because I don't want to miss it. Okay, I see me. It would pop up on the screen. Okay, thank you, we the people. Okay, so maybe he hasn't clicked the link just yet. With us, like to toy with us. Let me, matter of fact, I actually wrote down some agenda items. So let me kind of go through my agenda that has seemed to have disappeared because, oh my goodness, I'm trying to, talk to y'all. He said, could you resend it? Do you want me to drop it again, or you want me to just send it in the chat? The Boxing Scholar, I'm not sure where you are. You need me to put it in the chat again? And you guys, this is my first show, so we're going to have some hiccups. So just bear with me as I get my stuff together. I promise my next one, I'm gonna be a boss. But this one, I'm definitely slow rolling it. Please bear with me. I'm going to see if he needs me to drop him chat, the link in our messages. You guys talk amongst yourselves as I get stuff together with my special guest. Okay, all right. So I sent it to you in our message. So if you see it, click it. If not, I can put it in there again. Hey, Tiniki, how you doing, boo? So yes, I was going to my agenda items that have seemed to disappeared from my teleprompter. So okay, so I was going to start talking about the current state of our union. Whoo, chow. Okay, so I've kind of been burying my head in the sand where it came with the current war, right? I was worried. I was very worried that we were on the precipice of World War III, and that, boom, boom, bam, right? So I was kind of like, it's out of my control. It's nothing we can do. So I was just trying to avoid it at all costs. It does seem like cooler heads have prevailed, and people are telling, the powers that be, back off. Do things the right way, stop trying to muscle other folks. But it does seem like certain foreign countries have America's ear right now. Certain foreign countries are kind of dictating how we run our country, right? And so the current state of affairs for our union is not looking good right now. I just looked it up, that they said the Iran war in the first 6 days have equaled up to $11.2 billion. 11.2 billion. That's just the first 6 days. By now, we have spent probably about, let me see, how much have we spent so far? So far, we have spent 1 to 2. It hasn't been 1 to 2 trillion. I'm sorry, that math is just gone. I don't know where that one went. But if we were to keep going in this war for the next 20 years, it's estimated that it would cost 1.5 trillion. Because we know how long of a war has gone on. We did a 20-year war with Iraq and Afghanistan. And in that war, we spent over $8 trillion. $8 trillion is how much we spent. And I looked up, so if we did 20 years of education for everyone, right? Everybody across the board, 20 years, that would only be 200 billion. So for some reason, we have 1.5 trillion if we were to go 20 years out. And we also had 8 trillion for the last 20 years. But we can't find 200 billion annually. So it was annually. So it would end up being over 20 years. You guys, somehow my notes got away from me. Bear with me. It would be 200 billion annually to educate the masses. And then I said okay, so if we educated the masses for 20 years, it would be 1.5 trillion. So what would we rather? Would we rather tear down other countries to only have to turn around and rebuild them for 1.5 trillion? Or would we prefer to educate everybody in America? I personally would prefer to educate everybody in America. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? And so granted, then this is how they get you. This is how they get you guys going back and forth against each other, because then they'll have the senators who are getting paid by big college to keep you paying those millions of dollars, especially if you're going to become a doctor. They'll have the senator saying, well, I'm not paying for some rich person's kid to go to school. Do you really think, because 9 times out of 10, if it's going to be free college, it's going to be a public college. Do you really think somebody who's running around with Elon Musk money is sending their kid to the local public college? Probably not. But do you know how much of a phenomenal education one of us could get at the local public college? It could be phenomenal. Okay. And so that being said, this is how they keep us divided. So now people are like, well, no, I don't want to make sure everybody's getting education because that rich person is going to send their kid. Okay. Or I don't want to make sure that everybody gets health care because these immigrants are coming across the border and they're gonna take, get some free services, right? That's another way to keep us divided. Because right now, and I've heard so many of our own people, and when I say our own people, I mean Black people. I've heard us say, yeah, these immigrants are coming and they're getting all these things and this, that, and the other, right? Well, I tell you like this. The problem is not that local immigrant that may or may not be getting something. Because the last I heard, and I don't know what goes on in various states, but the last I heard, most immigrants don't qualify for special services, even though they're paying taxes. But they don't qualify for these social safety nets that have been put in place, 90% of which are being taken advantage of by white people. They don't qualify for them. But certain states, people are saying these immigrants are getting them, right? Okay, well, the immigrant is not your problem. Your problem is the lawmaker who's making it so you can't get these social services that you pay into the tax system for year after year. Your problem is not that person who had to escape Venezuela because America 20 years ago went and destabilized their country. It's not the Croatian that America has gone over to their country and destabilized their location. It's not the Haitians that America has gone over and destabilized their country. That's the common theme. People keep trying to blame the poor at the bottom. And that's how they keep us divided. Because the minute we all start talking and that person in middle America that can't afford to buy bacon, that person in middle America doesn't have a local post office, that person in middle America can't get some ground beef, is in the same predicament as somebody who lives right up the street from me. They can't afford bacon, or maybe they don't even have a store in their neighborhood because we can't even get stores in our neighborhoods. Those are called food deserts. So my thing is, stop blaming the poor at the bottom. Stop blaming the people that have no control over the laws in this country. Start holding the people accountable that make these laws. And if you can't make the laws, if you can't get a system that takes care of all the people, then you need to go. Chuck Schumer needs to go. I don't even know if Nancy Pelosi is still in the Congress, but that bitch needs to go. She needs to go. Do you understand how they said that they will make sure we never get Medicare for all? Do you understand how Chuck Schumer just said part of his number one mission is to make sure Israel is taken care of? Now, listen, I am never one to poo-poo another country. I'm all about helping hands and bridging all the things. But when your average person can't make ends meet, they don't have a $400 emergency in their bank, then I don't care what's going on in Israel. And guess what? Oh, by the way, Israel does have health care for all. They do have education for all. So the fact that we're sending billions of dollars to Israel, oh, by the way, and selling them weapons so that they can further oppress the Palestinian people, because you best believe in about 10, 15 years, there's going to be Palestinians trying to get into this country because it's no longer tenable to live in Israel. And I don't even know if we got 10 years. We may have a couple of years because we are constantly giving them money, and they've literally talked about leveling Palestine. They've literally talked about leveling the West Bank and making sure that it was just open. So I know Talisha does not want her name on that murder weapon that's about to kill some innocent baby. Babies died in incubators because bombs hit hospitals and lights went out. That's how sick this mess is. And you know what happens? We're steadily getting rich. And by we, I mean the people that run our country. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who now has seen the light, who now knows that, Orange man bad. Well, guess what? She voted for that big, beautiful bill that is currently making farmers uh, suicidal because they can't make ends meet. She voted for that. So now all of a sudden you've seen the light, but she only saw the light when he decided he wasn't going to back her when she tried to run for Senate. So it's all a game. It's a game to them, but it's not a game to us. We are poor. We need things. Our kids need things. We can't afford to go supporting other countries right now. And we need to bring people in this country that we've literally destabilized their country, and we need to help them. That is literally what we need to do. We have to help people because we have gone over and we have torn their countries up. That is our job. So let's see what's next on my agenda because I can go forever about how bad it gets. So, what's the most important aims, federal or local elections? This is one of the biggest things ever. Federal elections are very important, right? They're very important because you're putting the president in, you're putting the Senate and the Congress in. They are who decides who sits on the Supreme Court. They write the laws, right? But a lot of things are pushed back to the local states to make sure that people are taken care of home. Right. And so that's what really matters to us. Now, all the federal stuff is important. Never get it twisted. That's important. But the DA that you put in the office is going to be the one that either gives a young Black kid who got into some trouble a school to prison pipeline or a second chance. Hang on. I see Marky Dan is here. Hey, Marky Dan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's good? Salute to you.
Salute to you. Welcome in. I'm just over here running my mouth. Scholar still hasn't shown up.
Always late, never on time. That's
No
unfortunate.
worries. No worries. Everybody, this is Marky Dan. He is another one of these brilliant political minds that I've come and listened to a time or two. And so I'm so happy that you're here to help me break it down for folks, the state of our union. Hey, Breezy, welcome in, baby.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for having me up here.
Absolutely. So right now, I've already kind of covered the state of our union, basically what I feel uh, America, where we are right now, as in how the powers that be are basically turning, the poors against each other, the immigrants and the poors against each other. So I don't know if you have something on that, and I've also touched on the Iran-Israel war. So I don't know if you had something you wanted to contribute to that.
Yeah, it just really amazes me how what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like the level of short span memory that we as a people have. Or I ain't gonna say we. No, I'm not gonna say we. I'm gonna say 70 million people that voted for that guy. Donald Trump is in no way, shape, or form anybody you would want to have as a leader. He's not somebody you would want to have as a boss. You would not want him to be your child's teacher. You would not want him to even serve you a burger at Wendy's. You would not want him to be your friend. Like in every way, shape, form, or fashion, he is somebody that you try to cross the street to get away from. Like just outside of like all the bad policy, the man has been accused of sexual assault by over 20 different women. He was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He's been civilly adjudicated as as a rapist. Why would you want to vote for this type of immoral individual and give him power? This on top of all the tax evasion stuff and the stuff where he was overvaluing his properties when he was a New York and a Florida real estate man. But then just outside of that, the level of lying and gaslighting, and I'm going to touch on what you just said, where they're trying to split up the poors against each other. They're trying to turn immigrants against legal poors, I guess you could say. There is
Right.
no evidence that immigration, whether legal or illegal, is a net drain on our economy or on our government revenue. There's none. To the contrary, there's a lot of evidence that it's a boon to our economy, not only for our labor force, but for our government revenue. We would actually, I just read a really great study by the Cato Institute. We would be $14 trillion in the hole, even more with this debt that we have if it were not for immigrants. And this is a 30-year study. But
Right.
Donald Trump will get up there and he'll use the economic pain that people were going through after we had supply shortages during the Ukraine war, and we had high inflation, and he'll use that to say it's the immigrants' fault. It's all their fault. You got 30 million immigrants coming over the border. They're taking your jobs. Even though the unemployment rate was at record lows during Biden, they're taking your jobs. They're running up the cost of housing. Even though none of these people are rich enough to buy freaking houses. I mean, so the level of lying has been on a different level. And then when we actually get to the administration itself, like touching on the State of the Union, this guy, like every single promise that he made, he's either failed or just genuinely did not give a F and lied about.
Right.
Remember Doge? You remember
Right.
Doge? When
I
they
do.
said they were going to cut $2 trillion of waste, fraud, and abuse? It was absolute bullcrap. They didn't even cut $8 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse. And then
Right.
they gave another $90 billion to ICE so they could unleash mass thugs in our streets. They said we were going to get Doge checks. It's a bunch of BS. They cut U.S. aid to all these poor countries around the world. We've had, well, I read a study in May of 2025. 300,000 people died in places like Africa and Burma because they
Right.
cut off the tap of U.S. aid. Entire pallets of food spoiled. Little kids dying of malaria. And for what?
Right.
Because this dude lies his ass off every day so much. This on top of the fact he said he'd be the I'll be the no new wars president. I'm not gonna start wars. I'm gonna stop wars. I'm the no new wars president. You had no new wars, which is just more bullshit. It's just more excuse me for cursing, but more bull crap.
No, you're fine. Marky Dan, let me go ahead and welcome in the boxing scholar. I see you're very passionate, and I love every single bit of it. The boxing scholar, welcome, honey. Welcome to the stage.
Salute to the boxing scholar.
You're muted if you're trying to talk.
Okay, y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah. Couple things.
Well, I wasn't done. I just wanted to touch on the Iran and Israel and the Israel of it all. Then I'm gonna let you come in, scholar. Um,
This nigga started to be in the host. Go ahead, Marky Dan. Go ahead and host.
I mean, I was cooking before you came in, boxing
You
Go
coach.
were
ahead,
cooking.
but
You
I'm
was
just pulling up.
absolutely
Okay,
cooking.
go ahead, continue to cook, brother. My bad.
Yeah. No, but I just want to quickly touch on the Israel and Iran of it all. All this crap I heard for years from the maggots talking about, oh, we're a laughing stock on the world stage. Biden could have ended the war in Ukraine because Putin doesn't respect Biden. Putin didn't respect Biden, but Trump, he's going to be strong. He's going to be tough. He's going to be America first. Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel treat this man like he's their bitch every other day of the goddamn week. And then Putin, every chance he gets, he shows that he has no respect for this dude. They're still bombing Ukraine. They're still killing people in Palestine. And now they've dragged us into a war where the best hope that we can have is that this area called the Strait of Hormuz over there, which is the choke point for the Persian Gulf to get all their oil out to the rest of the world.
Right.
The best that we could hope for is that it reopens, which it was open before the war even started. So what did we
Right.
accomplish for the 15 service members that have died? The billions of dollars we could have used to send to for anything domestically. I mean, this dude is just an absolute failure. And personally, I'm not gonna say that on your channel, but I don't wish nothing good for him or his family at all whatsoever. They're traitors to this country, and history is gonna toss him to the dustbin. Go ahead.
Not Marky Dan wishing all the bad things in life happen to Trump and nobody else. Shout out to Marky Dan, the young YN, aka Mr. Fred Hampton. I sent them the link, since y'all definitely need the link. He be on this political tip, and I think y'all would make great content together. But I
Wonderful.
wanted to say this, Marky. I want to say this. I got to touch on this earlier, but you know how it is, bro. When you try to touch on some deep topics, bro, with people who ain't comprehending it, it really it's like a waste of breath type stuff. I said, you know what? I'm gonna just say this for Rose channel, right? So we were talking about Donald Trump, right? We're talking about black people. We're talking about like this group of black people. I feel like is like the most privileged as far as financial, but they're also the pro capitalism. And you go look at all the people that came before the Hamptons, and those people were anti capitalism. The Black Panthers were anti capitalism because they seen the effects of what it would do. The coons ain't
Right.
just started happening; it's existed forever, and
Right.
they knew that people would sell their souls. Like you listen to people who try to make a legitimate argument. Black people, I'm just talking about solely black people. Everything that they give Donald Trump credit for is centered around money. And it's like,
Right.
damn, I thought money ain't the only thing in the world. Why is like, have y'all sold y'all soul? Because we sit and have whole panels on Illuminati and how people done sold their souls for the devil and stuff, and black people willing to sell their soul for $500 extra, on their income tax or whatever the case may be. And then I was trying to tell Ben this is what Ben wasn't comprehending, right? The tax code that we was under when Biden was the president were Donald Trump's taxes.
Right.
So
Exactly.
they're giving Donald Trump credit for competing against his own taxes and say,
Right.
well, I got to support him because I'm getting more taxes now that Donald Trump is president. And you just face palm because you know that they grasped, they can't
And then
grasp
they
the
don't even know
idea.
what a tariff is, Boxer Scholar.
Oh
They
my
don't
God.
know that
Now,
they've
when
been
Trump,
paying tariffs
yo,
this whole time.
Marky Dan, I have been watching politics my entire adult life, right? I have never ever seen a debate where anybody has brought up tariffs. They bring up a lot of stuff, taxes, all that. Nobody has ever brought up tariffs. You know why? Because it's never been a formula. It's never been a formula for success. Anything that Donald Trump says, they become experts as. If he talk about tariffs, if he talk about oil, he talk about anything. Oh, Venezuela. Oh yeah, we had to go over there and get Venezuela. They dangerous. What? Oh yeah, Iran, they dangerous too. Everything he says, they agree with, and you just facepalm because you like, I can listen. I get it why white people doing this. You go back and look at integration in the '60s and stuff like that. They haven't changed much as far as their viewpoints and how they act. Right? They were literally protesting against black people being treated equally and said, "Well, you can't tread on our rights to treat the black people. What else do you want?
How
Listen,
dare
you're
you
free."
bring your little black children to the same school as as my white children? We're gonna stand out here and protest, and goddamn it, I'm gonna send my husband back in the middle of the night with a white hood if you don't get these porch monkeys out of here.
But hang
It-
on,
it-
gents. Hang on, because I need you not to gloss over what you just said. Venezuela. We went to another sovereign nation. We kidnapped their duly elected president. We brought him here to stand trial for what? Because we just let a drug runner go free. Supposedly
Exactly.
he's funneling drugs in our country.
Not supposed. He was convicted. He was convicted of and he was also convicted of murder for murdering one of the witnesses in prison.
That part. But we let them go. But we're so tough on drugs, we had to go and kidnap the Venezuelan president. And then now their oil is ours, quote. Where they do that at?
Trump world.
Oh my
Trump
God.
world.
But listen, I have to stop you guys with a lot of this Trump. Like, mind you, I am not a fan. I have to kind of be easy about what I say, but I am not a fan. However, there are certain things that the other side of the aisle is contributing to. Chuck Schumer voted for, or I guess voted
Yeah.
against them putting some controls on his war powers. So I very much have a problem with that because they hide behind, like, if the vote was probably going to fail anyway, he wouldn't have had to stick his neck out there. So they hide behind the fact that things are just going to fail. Just like when they didn't do the Build Back Better plan, they depended on whatever that person is in the Senate. What's that person in the Senate that the Republicans just told to go EAD, eat a dick? Oh my God, what is the person in the
No,
Senate? Somebody
you're
help me.
thinking of the House Speaker.
No, it wasn't the House Speaker. There's a person in the Senate that can tell them if certain things are legal or not, if they can do it
Oh,
or
the
not.
parliamentarian.
Parliamentarian. And they were just so constrained by that. But when Trump wanted to pass his tax cuts that Biden did not repeal, by the way, they told the House Speaker, I'm sorry, the parliamentarian to go eat a dick. So the Democrats some of them, I don't want to say all, but some of them are paid to lay down, and they do all the dancing to make you think they're going to do something for you, but it's just rhetoric. So at what point do we stop just pointing and saying, well, look at what they're doing? Because we got the same thing on the other
I
side. That's supposed to be
I
the people
agree.
side.
I agree 1,000%. And I've said, and me and my co-host from my show, The Democracy Briefing, check it out. Me and my co-host AC, we have this argument all the time because I'm a young liberal progressive, and he's more of an old Democratic corporatist. So
Right,
he believes that the focus should be on getting MAGA and Trump. My focus is not only on MAGA. I believe we could chew gum and walk at the same time. We need new leadership in the Democratic Party. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, these people are useless. And not only that, they're puppets for Israel. They proudly say they take money from APAC. And then Chuck
right,
Schumer, he didn't Chuck Schumer actually voted for the War Powers resolution. Well, what he didn't vote against was the funding to go to Israel. And within that funding was not only was it weapons, it was bulldozers. It was
right.
bulldozers to send to Israel so they can demolish Arabs' houses in the West Bank and then
That
chase them
part,
off, which is
that
just
part.
insane. Like, how do you defend that?
I don't know. I don't know. And you're doing it in our name. This is, and you know what? This is how terrorists are created, because we go and somebody signed one, and from the Biden administration, somebody signed one of the bombs. And so we send bombs over there, we obliterate a whole people. This is how terrorists are built. And then we wonder why a 9/11 happens. Now, listen, I am not advocating for it. I was affected by 9/11. I was here when it happened. So it's not okay. But this is how it happens,
No,
because
but
we,
Queen,
imperialist America, go to other countries and we destabilize it. We take out their whole families. And then we wonder why
wait.
people get, go ahead.
No, my bad for cutting you. It's your show. My bad. My
No,
bad.
no, no,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. You're good.
No, I was just gonna say, think about the level of anger and bloodlust the American people had after 9/11. 90% of people supported us going into Afghanistan and Iraq. The Middle East has had 1,000 9/11s done to them by
Fact.
Israel and the United States.
Right,
Facts.
And then we just sit
right,
around and we're like, man, why do these people say death to America? Why do they call us the big
right.
Satan and Israel the little Satan? Oh, these people just must be evil. I mean, that's the only logical conclusion we could come to. Like, it's just ridiculous.
But Marky
Like,
Dan, you remember that we had that dude from Israel on the show, bro, and
yeah,
and
that
they
disgusting
they
human being.
always they mask religion. Oh, they hate us for our freedom and because we love Christ. Like, get the fuck, like, well, we know too much now to believe some stupid shit like that. But I want to get back to what y'all said and what y'all touched on. So
Yeah, but wait,
you
wait, wait,
know,
wait, wait, wait. No, wait, you were right. We know that. We know that. Your average American, because I used to be that average American up until 2016, you guys. That's how recent it was that I finally woke the fuck up. And they bastardized the word woke that you don't even want to say it. But I literally woke up in 2016 after it was too late and we could have had Bernie. Now, Bernie is not anybody's, the end all be all, but he is one of those, all, rising boats. What is it? Rising tides, rises all boats, something like that. He believes in the socialist principle that, if you give to all, the many can benefit, right? I didn't know that. I was one of those CNN, MSNBCs, one of those
Yup.
blue liberals that said Democrats good, Republicans bad. Democrats are fighting for us, Republicans want to harm us. And I didn't know that they were literally on the same team holding us back. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
And just
so I
quickly
was
before Skylar goes, Bernie, he believes in free markets, but he's just like me. He believes in socializing and nationalizing specific industries. Like, there
that's
should not be a healthcare for profit industry in this country. Like, it is insane. Like, if a person is drowning, our ideology is, bro, you have to pay us before we save you. Like,
Right.
that's insane.
you
No
you
other
know
country in the world does that.
Marky Dan, we've had this discussion about Bernie before. You wouldn't pro Bernie. I'm glad. Welcome to the party. You know, we was waiting for you to
Now you
get here.
talking about AC? I've always liked
Oh,
Bernie.
yeah, okay, it might have been. You might be
Again,
right.
AC is the
But but
corporatist.
but 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 check this out. So y'all brought up Democrats, y'all brought up Republicans, and y'all are absolutely right, right? Like I think that people have mis a misdiagnosis of what the people actually want are out of a politician. We expect them to be rich, right? Like nobody is against them being rich, but the insider trading and stuff like that, nobody even got a problem with
Right.
that. But what we got a problem with is the theater of it all, right? Like even when they do debates, you see one with a blue tie, one with a red. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like this is the itchy and scratchy show. Everybody watched The Simpsons growing up. We know what we look at. This is theater, right? Because at the end of the day, they got the same party. Like if you go look, Donald Trump donated to Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton might have possibly been Bubba, who he was blowing at the party. They all hang around each other. They all at the same country clubs and everything, right? But I look at it like this because I mean I think me and Marky Dan have had this debate before. The Democratic Party has the most potential, right? Because they at least pretend to care, right? Pretend to care. And there were people who passed civil rights bills who didn't even like black people and called them niggas, but they were pretending to care. So, you know, the action was right. The intention might have not been so pure, right? And I feel like that's enough for me to side with. I wouldn't call myself necessarily a Democrat because I feel like they like Mega Mind. I don't know if y'all watch, but I got kids, but remember Mega Mind was supposed to lose? That's Democrats
Yeah.
right there. They be in a position where you're like, oh my God, this is a slam dunk. And somehow they find a way to mess it up because they're supposed to look like they're trying. They're supposed to lose, right? Because healthcare for all would out of the two parties would be on the Democratic platform. That would be the base where the base would actually like that. But they don't really campaign hard on it. And when they had a person like Bernie Sanders who was talking about it, right? They blackballed him. And you're like, wait a minute, what?
Because
You
they're
claim to be
all
the
That's
good
owned by the
guy?
because
pharmaceutical
the,
companies.
but I'm gonna tell you this: it's because it's no longer that they are the team of potential. They were the team of potential. They've now gotten in bed with big pharma, big education, big prison. You know what I'm saying? All the big things, even
They've
big
always
war,
been
the
in
big
bed with
war.
them.
You know what I'm saying? They found out that the money is way better than people's lives, so they're willing to sacrifice us. So you can't even depend on them. There has to be target words that are coming from the campaigner's mouth. And that means whatever the side of the aisle they're on, and granted, I haven't seen a Republican yet, but if they start talking the right things, they're going to get my vote. I so want to just put my declaration as independent, but it seriously handicaps you when you go to a vote. So I leave it as Democrat, but it's against everything in my being because they're now the party of we're going to fight you on Medicare. They're now the party of, we can wait. We can wait for anything black. Anytime black people need something. And this country, if they haven't learned anything else, anytime a black person benefits, everybody benefits. So just like when we had the DEI, the biggest recipient of DEI was white women. When we had civil rights, the biggest recipient of, equal rights was white women. You know what I'm saying? So it's beyond me why they continuously vote against their interests time after time after time. And the only thing I can think of is because we are in a patriarchy. And the patriarchy says you follow your husband. So if it is, a white woman married to a white man in middle America, something told him that he should vote Republican. And they say it's because they're the party of small government and they're the party of, less paying your taxes, right? Paying less taxes, right? However, that's the same government that tells me I can't go have an abortion. It's the same government that tells me I can't marry who I want to marry. It's the same government that tells me I can't police my child's medical care the way I want to. So it's bullshit, is what it is. And so the Democrats of today have changed, just like the Republicans of today have changed. I honestly think, even though they were shitty back in the day, Reagan launched his campaign in Money, Mississippi, where Emmett Till was murdered. So, but Reagan also did a pathway to citizenship for immigrants because they realized that the immigrants were bringing money hand over fist into this country. So the Republicans are no longer who they used to be. The Democrats are no longer who they used to be. I don't trust either one of them. So unless you come in and you tell me that you are a progressive, that you believe in everybody rising to the top and you're going to fight for those rights and you have a documented history of it, I'm not voting for you. You don't get my vote anymore. And I think that's the problem. They assume we're going to vote for them. Go ahead.
Let me say something. I believe that I don't agree. I think the establishment corporatist Democrats, they are who they've always been. Now we don't like it because they are basically partners or essentially owned by Israel. But the reality is this country, at least in the last no, always, this country in the last 100 years has always done better under democratic leadership. This goes all the way back to FDR when he took us out of the Great Depression, when he electrified the entire nation, literally brought electricity to every rural area in this country, when he took us out of the worst job market ever. Then you go to Bill Clinton, the first the first president in decades to produce a balanced budget. Then you go to Barack Obama, took us out of Bush's recession, and then took us out of Iraq, which people have criticisms for. But and then Joe Biden, even for all the criticisms that Joe Biden has, Joe Biden actually had a real plan. And if Kamala Harris had won, I think we would have been well on the way to economic recovery from the inflation of 2022. Like we had the CHIPS Act, which was going to put us in the best position to be the world's biggest chips manufacturer in the world. Like I just said, we had the Biden infrastructure bill, which was going to once again that was going to put us on the track to being 100% renewable energy by 2044. And now you see these just fucking dummies. You got Donald Trump sitting up there saying the windmills are bad. They kill the seagulls. They kill the seagulls. No, we need clean coal. Clean coal. Clean coal. That's what's gonna do it for us. And now we're reliant on the global oil market. And you see people's some people's utility bills are now higher than their monthly mortgage payments because of this effing idiot. He's tearing down the wind farms that were going to modernize the grids. He's basically handed manufacturing of chips back to China and Taiwan. There's like nothing good when a Republican comes into office. I think the last 14 of the last 15 14 of the last 15 recessions were under a Republican president. There's nothing stable about them. And then
Yeah,
they do
but
this
you
bull
also got to
crap.
remember,
One more thing,
Marky
one more
Dan.
thing, one more
Okay.
thing. Then they do this bull crap where they like to say we're fiscal conservatives, but we're gonna cut taxes and increase the defense budget, which increases the deficit.
Right.
Like they're just backwards people. On top of the fact they're racist. Like all of them are or I'm not gonna say all of them, but most of them are vicious racists, and they don't even have to hide it no more. You heard what JD Vance said. You don't gotta be scared to be white no more. They say it out their mouth all the time. And one more thing, respectfully, like if we're gonna talk about who's done more for black people, even like after George Floyd, and I don't agree or like a lot of things about the BLM movement, but still, under Biden, we had the National Registry. Under Biden, federal, they passed federal guidelines that said you cannot get funding unless you have body cameras. So at least that's something we got. On top of what
It's
you just
something.
discussed with DEI, yes, you're correct. It did benefit white women a lot, but it also
Right.
benefited people of color a lot also. But go ahead. That's just my only point. I think
No, you
this country is better under Democrats than Republicans 1000%. Like not even
but
close, respectfully.
you also have to remember though, like I literally said, the parliamentarian is a position that you can say go to hell. It
Is
was by
Skylar a queen up here?
design.
Is the queen still up here?
I am the queen. What you talking about? Can you hear me? I don't know if Marky Dan can hear me. Can you guys hear me? If you hear me, put a 1 in the chat.
Damn, I don't know. I guess I'm by myself.
I hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we lost him. Can you guys still hear me? If you hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I lost both of my co-hosts. Okay, Marky Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Marky
can
Dan,
hear
can
you
you
now.
hear me?
I can hear you now. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, what I was saying is, you're right. You're right. I'm going to say this, harm reduction, right? So let me backspace just a little. When it came time to vote this time around, I did not want to vote for Kamala Harris just because I know for a fact we're sending bombs over to kill children in Palestine. That's why I didn't want to vote for her. But as a Black woman in America, I don't have that luxury. I don't have that luxury to vote my conscience. I have to vote for my sons who may get pulled over by a cop and get killed. I have to vote for, my job because 300,000 Black women lost their jobs in the last year. You know what I'm saying? So as a Black woman, I don't have the luxury of voting my conscience, right? Some people can be single issue voters and say, I'm voting Republican because they're against abortion, right? I don't have that luxury. Now, I live in a blue state, so I could definitely do a protest vote because I knew for a fact we were going to go blue. Kamala was going to win our state. It's fine, right? But I don't normally have that luxury. The Democrats know this. They know that they're the only thing running in town, so they can do half measures. And that's literally what they do. They do half measures. That Build Back Better plan was something. It wasn't the end all be all, but it was something. However, they let the parliamentarians strike that down. Just like Biden could have stacked the Supreme Court, and he didn't. So he allowed them to remove Roe v. Wade, which gives women autonomy over their own body. So we say that the Democrats are better, but are they better? Harm reduction, right? So yeah, Kamala may have still supported Israel, but would we be in a war with Iran right now? Probably not. So that's harm reduction. But at some point, we have to be tired of the lesser of two evils. And I think a lot of people, when they did do this vote, no matter how stupid it was, they thought, well, the Democrats are just taking my vote for granted. And I'm tired of them taking my votes for granted. That's what they did the last time in 2016. And they were like, if we slap them hard enough, they'll wake up. But the Democrats just know that after 4 years of hell that we are in the middle of, we'll have no choice but to fall for them. They already know come the midterms, we're going to load up that House and possibly the Senate with Democrats because we have been through hell in a handbasket on fire. And the problem is they're not earning our votes. They're not earning our votes. And granted, we would cut off our nose to spite our face to say, okay, you have to earn my vote. I'm not voting for you. Yeah, we cut off our nose to spite our face. But how do we break the cycle? The only way we can break this cycle is to actually start finding progressives, having them run for office, finding that Mamdani campaign plan and mirroring it across the country. Because that's the only way we're going to change this situation for the better. Because we can say till we're blue in the face that Democrats aren't as bad, but they're pretty fucking bad. They're pretty bad. And like you said, I don't know, it might have been the boxing scholar, but somebody said that they're doing insider trading. They're absolutely doing insider trading. They're literally putting their finger on the scale of the stock market and making millions, billions of dollars. You only make $200,000 a year. There should not be multimillionaires in the Senate unless you came in with a dowry. You know what I'm saying? But they're multimillionaires. They're making money hand over fist. They're getting money right and left, and they're raping America blind. Go ahead.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, Rose T. But the truth is, in the word of Tupac, ain't no hope for the future. Ain't no hope for the youth. You know what I mean? Like the reality is this: the system by itself is corrupting. There's no way to not get corrupted, right? Like if you look at these people like AOC, progressive, you look at these people who first get into politics, I think they're well intended and I think they're good people. But I think the system is designed for not good people to exist. And there's no such thing as a perfect candidate, right? Like Marky Dan brought up not RFK, god damn it. So you know I'm having a brain fart. That motherfucker. Not RFK. He brought up Marky Dan, what's the dude who they put the term limit in for? Roosevelt.
FDR.
FDR. I was having a brain fart there. But a lot of people didn't like Roosevelt. Even though he was progressive, he was going out to banks, he was doing a bunch of things that, that helped the economy. A lot of people didn't like it. I don't think there's any perfect candidate. And he probably, let's be honest, he probably was racist. Let's be honest about that. He probably was racist as well.
He was.
But if you look at the system the way it is, I don't think there's no way to get out not corrupt. I think people go in well intended and they leave corrupt. I think the system is corrupt.
There is a way. Money out of politics. Money out of politics. You demand that your candidate don't take corporate money. That's what you demand. And you don't vote for these people who are steadily getting cash withdrawals from APAC, cash withdrawals from Exxon, cash withdrawals from Big
Sister,
Pharma. You
Sister
demand that.
Rosie, let me tell you. Let me tell you why I've heard this before. That's a thing that's good in principle. But I give you an example. TYT. TYT, donate to Wolfpack. We're gonna get money out of politics. We're gonna affect change. And you look at them motherfuckers now; they're the most corporatist. It's a societal thing. It's a societal rot of America that capitalism has affected everybody to where they don't give a fuck about anything or anybody but money. That's why I say
I
the
mean, it
system.
is, but if you also notice, TYT has lost like 90% of their viewers, maybe 70. They've lost their viewers. Progressive
They
the
definitely lost
progressive
the base.
model works. It works. It just needs to be, people need to be educated on it. When people hear socialist, they run because they're thinking communists, they're thinking lines, bread lines in Russia. This is what, because listen, if nothing else, the Republicans have the best messaging strategy on the planet. They told you over and over again that they were going to turn your daughter into a boy. They told you over and over again that the immigrants were going to put you out of your house and marry your fucking daughter. They told you over and over again that black men were going to get out of jail and rape your kids. You know what I'm saying? That messaging, if nothing else, we need to get on their messaging level. And
But
The
so,
Republicans. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
let me
ahead.
say this. Let me say this. I'm gonna be brief. I'm gonna be brief. So, like, and this is why, like, I pay attention. I pay attention. So, this is why I don't believe that to be true, right? And because we got an example of that, we have a guy in Bernie Sanders who has a good track record. You know what I mean? Not flip floppy. You know what I mean? No APAC, none of that stuff, right? Bernie Sanders ran in the Democratic Party. It's not that hard for the newer generation to go register to vote in the primary. You know what I mean? Republicans could even vote in the Democratic primary, right? But he
mhm.
wasn't elected. He was a progressive. He had popular ideas. The base would show up and show out for him, but it wasn't enough people. So that
But that's
shows me
the
that
point. That's the point. People don't know. They don't know. They're scared. That messaging. People are scared away by the words democratic socialist. They tell you that Canada, who has Medicare for all, you'll be waiting years to get treatment when it's no. If it's an emergency service, you get it right away. If it's something that can wait, you gotta wait, which is fine because listen, I'm in no rush to get my hip replaced. You know what I'm saying? But if I can make it until then, but if I need to get a heart transplant, I'm first on the list. So it's that messaging. People don't know. I'm telling you, when I said when I was that common voter, I didn't want to vote for Bernie because he was old and I didn't want to hear what he had to say. I was told Hillary good. I wanted to vote for Hillary. I didn't know that Hillary was she wasn't an architect of it, but she was a proponent of the crime bill that locked up black men disproportionately to white men selling the same substance, yet it was called crack and one was called cocaine. I didn't know she was one of the proponents. I didn't know that Biden was the author of that bill because I was one of those go for what you know, vote blue no matter who. MSNBC told me they were good. MSNBC told me Republicans were bad, right? And I didn't know Bernie. I thought he was old. I thought, what can he do for us? And I had no idea that he had the best intentions for this country. Now, mind you, Bernie's not perfect. He had to be sold on reparations. And I don't fucking understand because Jewish people who we never did anything to, they still get a check to this day from our country. Yet he had to
Mhm.
be sold on us getting it after years of oppression, and we're still
Yep.
going through it. We're in our own different Jim Crow now. So he's not perfect, but literally
Oh,
let
let's
me
say
go
let's stay
ahead
there.
and
Let's stay there. Let's stay there. So
go
what you
ahead.
just said is very important, right? Because we look at Bernie like an ally because he champions healthcare for all. He fights for the little man. He talks about going after corporations, and
A
still, like, we
livable
like, hold
wage.
up. This should be common sense reparations, but we still got to convince him on that. And this is what I was talking about, like looking at these political figures as like deities. You know what I mean? Like, there's not gonna be a perfect person. And I have this conversation all the time about Barack Obama, right? Because what did he done for us? And it's like, why are you holding him to a different standard than everybody else? Like, he's the president of everybody.
He did
If
a lot.
every black person voted for Barack Obama, it wouldn't be enough to get him to be the president. So, and then he can't go out there and say this is solely for black people, right? Because we got the scope on us everywhere we go, in every position and upgrade that we get. It's no different than the president, right? So I could never understand why people who like would become a supervisor at their job, they wouldn't just say, "Hey, black people, y'all do whatever y'all want." Would expect the president to become the president and say, "Hey, I'm gonna just give black people whatever they want. They can get this, they can get that," and they don't put that expectation on no other president. That's literally what y'all hear the term black fatigue all the time because white people like to hijack our terms like woke and stuff like that. But these terms
Right.
are from literal intellects that have written books, and that's part of what black fatigue was. Where like you get criticism from everybody, including your own race. Right? They're nastier sometimes to you than everybody else, and then you're getting it from everybody else. So there's not a safe haven where you can get some understanding from anybody. That's what Barack Obama should have been on the cover of Black Fatigue, but but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, like what you said about Bernie, these people are not deities, right? And if I became the leader of somebody, because that's what leadership is, like you have to be responsible for everybody, and not everybody's going to be happy. Like this ain't Chick-fil-A where you just say my pleasure and can do whatever you want to for the customer. Somebody's going to be left out. You know what I mean? It's about the greater good of everybody. Meaning this, because I'm not anti-war. A lot of people think just because I might lean towards liberal that I'm anti-war. Like, no, bro. Like some people have bad intentions for the world. Like the world, Craig, the world. And I don't think that they should exist. I think they should be tried. I think they should be locked up. I believe in all of that stuff. But it got to make sense. It can't be us just going over to Venezuela because he's selling, he's attached the fentanyl is it can't be stupid
which
shit.
comes
It
from
has to be
Mexico.
logical. Yes, like it doesn't even come from Venezuela, but it can't be that. Like I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. Remember I talked about the deep rot of America and how they look at capitalism. This shows it. They think that the country should be ran like a fucking business, and this is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life, right? Because businesses prioritize profit, not people, right? So if Russia come and hey, I give you $1 trillion for the nuclear codes, all right, sure it is. That's a good business decision, right? But if you're a good leader and you care about the greater good, you're like, no, I'm not gonna jeopardize America. You know what I mean? For money. But that's why businessmen don't make good presidents. Case in point, President Bush. I think he has his master's in fucking business. We were on the verge of a recession. Donald Trump. Like we look, black unemployment is at an all-time high right now because
Right.
this motherfucker's an idiot. Came in with an unconstitutional agency called Doge and just start firing a bunch of motherfuckers. Like this is the idea. This is how
And bro,
stupid the
Box and Scholar, I wish we had the clips of them. They're like the dumbest white 19, 20 year olds who just was going through and saying, "Oh, that's a program for black women." Cut.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah. I
program
seen
to
it. I
teach
seen
about
it.
slavery.
I was gonna cover
Cut.
that, but it was too long. It was too long. I seen the deposition videos, but yeah,
And they're
they were
just like
fucking
they're the
idiots.
dumbest people you will ever meet, and they don't even have college educations. Like, where the f did they find these dudes? But you will never find a black person in a position like that,
Given yes,
ever.
we need more. We need more education. They still look at us like we're not deserving to be there. Like, who did you have to say? Remember they were saying
But
Kamala Harris
Byron
slept her
Donalds.
way to the
Remember what I
top.
told you? Remember what I told you about Byron Donalds? So Queen Byron Donalds is running for governor of Florida. He's one of the biggest coons, probably in the history of our country, at least in the recent history of our country. And he was supposed to be given a cabinet position, but they said he was held back because he had what was it a possession of marijuana charge with intent to sell when he was like 15 years old.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have RFK Jr. Who's out here talking about snorting dope off of toilet seats with
Oh,
no like repercussions. Like the
jeez.
stuff is just like
Well,
it's just truly amazing to me. It's
you
like we're
know, in
like
this
in an
country,
upside
though,
down world.
the rules for white men are completely different from
Yeah,
for
oppression
everybody
for
else.
protection.
That right? That's right. That's absolutely
And,
right.
and before you go on, I wanted to touch on FDR and Bush. I'm glad you brought up Bush because I'm in my name. It says a historian, and I like to do research. And I was just looking up some old World War I generals, and one guy came up. His name was General Smedley. He was a United States Marine Corps general, and he won two Medal of Honors in Europe. Did you know that Prescott Bush, George Bush's grandfather, and a bunch of investors and industrialists and bankers was actually planning a coup against FDR? because he was trying to institute the New Deal, and they felt like he was, again, the term socialist. Like, these people are evil. Like, I don't care what nobody say. Republicans are the worst of two. Like, they're not. It's not the lesser of two evils. They are the evil.
Yeah, they're worse. Yeah, they are.
They
They
are
are.
the evil. It's not
They
even
are.
close.
You know what I would attribute that to, Marky Dan? You remember in the movie Django? You remember in the movie Django where they were about to kill the white dude, and he was like, "Don't kill me. Remember, I gave you my last apple." That's
Yeah,
Democrats.
yeah, yeah.
That's Democrats. Republicans are just flat out slave owners. Like they the dudes that was beating them with the Bible verses on them. That's Republicans. But yeah, so what we to touch on what we was touching on earlier about the Doe stuff, Marky Dan. Oh my God, bro. So Donald Trump campaigned on this, and you know, in the boxing sector, there's a bunch of these dumbass Trump supporters. So I spent a lot of time,
Millions and
waste a lot of
billions
time.
and billions and possibly
But no, remember he
trillions of
said this,
dollars of
Marky Dan.
fraud.
He said that the economy was on the verge of being lost, and he has a plan to get it back, and it's going to be tariffs, right? And he's going to crack down on immigration, right? Then he gets in there. He gets in the office, right? And okay, the jobs are bad because Biden is a horrible leader, right? And his solution to that is, I'm going to fire a bunch of people. The way that they count economic growth is like GDP, job creations, and this stupid motherfucker on day one gets a guy who's not elected, like to do the literal job of Congress. That's what Congress is supposed to do, right? Like get Elon Musk, who has a bunch of contracts in our government anyway. Basically, you could say he owned our government, right? And say, hey, I want you to go get some teenagers. Listen, I'm an old school guy. You remember on Power Rangers in the intro, he was like, go find some teens with attitude. That's basically what he did. He was Zordon. He
Jesus
told
Christ.
he told Elon Musk to go find some teens with attitude to fire a whole bunch of black people. And I want to touch on this too, because we're talking about DEI. So how I feel about DEI, I look at it in more of a not a regular progressive, like a political progressiveness, but just black progressiveness. Because you know, we were 3/5 of a human being at one point, and ever since then we've been lobbying to try to get back to being seen as a full human, right? So we get a little bit here, a little crumb there, a little crumb there. You know what I mean? So we're always been fighting for crumbs. So we've always had the mentality of looking at the positive and not looking at what we're not getting. And that's how I view the presidency and stuff like uh, affirmative action and all of that stuff, right? So yes, it does benefit white women as well, right? But it does help black people as well, right? And when I had this debate on my channel, one of the people that was on there brought up this point, right? Because they were Trump supporters. What they do is they try to pigeonhole you to something that they don't even really believe in. Like, oh, now you care about black people and black women and stuff like that, but Kamala, but that's neither here nor there, right? He was saying, well, it only benefit white women. I'm like, so because it benefits white women, fuck the whole entire program. That's the stupidest shit in the world, right? Because he said that, right? And Donald Trump echoed his sentiments. You know that Nike has a case against them right now,
Yes.
right? From white people who are trying to sue them for racial discrimination. White people. So they tell us that these programs are not important, that we shouldn't. These are white talking points too, by the way. They give us the talking points. Black people just don't realize it. Like saying Kamala not black and stuff. That all came from white people. They said
Yeah,
the
and
same
white
thing about
supremacist
Barack
talking
Obama.
points.
Yes. And it trickles down and black people start echoing the sentiment because they start thinking, yeah, this really ain't benefit. That we've never thought like that. We thought in terms of what's going to happen to the future of us. Is this going to benefit us in the future? The reason why we have affirmative action in all these programs is because they didn't treat us right. They didn't believe we should have equal rights. Like this is why we have those things, right? And it's like it's helped us. Even though it helped white women and other people, it's helped black people get into spaces that they wouldn't normally be in, CEO positions and stuff like that. So my position on that is it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but I think we need it. I know who don't need it. White people who told us that we didn't need it because it helped white women.
I mean, I agree. I agree 1,000%.
So, and what I say about that is to get the buy-in. To get the buy-in, it's got to be something that benefits across the board. I would like to backspace just a little to Barack Obama. Now, ooh, child, for our community, that is such a touchy subject. but I would not be me if I'm not being real and I'm not being honest. Um,
I'm gonna fight you to
I
the death, but let's go.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Do I think he's the epitome of Black excellence? Absolutely. Do I love what him and his wife represent? Dr. Michelle Obama? Absolutely.
Doctor,
Did
yeah,
he
better put
have
that doctor on it.
did he have a supermajority in his first 2 years of his presidency? Absolutely. And we knowing what we know now, but what I'm sure he knew back then, there was no promise that at the midterms he was going to have that supermajority. We managed to bail out the banks. We managed to pass a Marriage Equality Act. We still don't have an anti-lynching bill. Now, granted, I don't think Trayvon Martin had happened by the time he lost this Congress and Senate, but that wasn't the first time Black people were getting murdered. You know what I'm saying? And we still have the drug disparity, prison sentencing. We had the, three strikes law, and you're gone for good. So there were things that he could have done, at least in those first 2 years. He could have codified Roe v. Wade. He did not do it.
That's true. That's
Be-
very true.
and I say that because out of all the presidents, he probably is my favorite. However, he's also a corporatist. He was also in the pocket of big whomever, right? Even when he was no longer the president, literally could have let his hair down and said what it is, right? After George Floyd got murdered and they, were trying to pass laws that would get the cops, to have some type of reckoning, right? And LeBron James, say what you will about him and what he do with his wife, but the brother tries to do the right thing, right? At least this is what I see from my outside view, not knowing anything about sports. The brother tries to do what's right. So he was going to boycott. And I guess as the NBA, he's like some type of leader. So in the NBA, he wanted to start a boycott.
Man,
So he
bro, man,
calls up
LeBron
Barack
James is cool.
Obama and he says, I want to boycott because I'm tired of them killing Black people. That would have crippled the economy. Maybe not completely, but it definitely would have crippled basketball. It would have crippled rich people. It would have propelled somebody to do something. And you know what Barack Obama told him? No, find another way to protest. I have a problem with that. You're no longer in office. You don't have the pressures coming at you every which way but loose. But you still advised him to find another way to protest when that could have been one
Yeah.
of the very effective means of protest. Which
Well,
means to
I'm
me,
not. I'm
at
not
the end of
sure
the
about.
day,
Go
at the
ahead,
end of
please.
the
Sorry.
day, that means he doesn't have our best interests or even the little guy's best interests at heart. I don't know what motivates him. And, that's very hard for me because, like I said, I used to be that card carrying liberal. I voted for him twice. And you couldn't say nothing wrong about Barack Obama until I started paying attention. They called him the deporter in chief for a reason. He
Well,
somehow,
Well,
when he
he
passed
deported
healthcare,
not he
he
deported.
passed Romney Care. He had a super majority. Now, mind you, it's so many Democrats on the take, he probably would not have been able to get Medicare for all passed, but he could have put that in the lexicon. And the fact that he has such an influence, he could have pushed that. Why are you not pushing it now? He has such an influence that he was able to get out on the campaign trail and tell people, you better go vote for Biden. But he's still not pushing it now. So
Well,
they
let
like
me say
like
something.
DBS said, they get into office and they get corrupted.
Let me say something about LeBron James. LeBron James is just a big old raccoon, like respectfully,
I mean, could be,
like
but he tried to do something.
or not even respect, like disrespectfully. He's a big old coon. Like you don't need permission from anybody to protest or to strike. If you're a real leader and this is an issue you actually care about, like LeBron James was just a puppet for a lot of those corporatists that we just talked about. And you just proved it with that point right there. Now, I'm not too sure about that thing about Barack Obama not giving him permission, but I just remember LeBron James always carrying around a book of written by Malcolm X. And anytime anybody asked him about it, he just thumbed through the pages and like, yeah, it's a great book. Yeah. And that's all he would really do. Like, in fact, it was Giannis Antetokounmpo after I forget the name of the boy, but he got shot in Milwaukee by the police by 7 bullets in the back, and the Milwaukee Bucks said, "We're not playing. We're shutting this bubble down." You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real leader right there. LeBron James is just a goddamn cool. Now back to Barack Obama. I'll give you that. On Roe v. Wade, I think he should have done more. Now he did not pass no Marriage Equality Act. That's not true. Like that was a Supreme Court decision because some gays in Kentucky were trying to get married and the marriage justice of the peace refused and they sued the justice of the peace and it went to the Supreme Court who passed that landmark decision.
And
And
also,
on
Roe
top
v.
of
Wade should have
on
been legislation anyway. It shouldn't. It should have already been law. But go ahead, my bad.
yes, yeah, yes, but still, I agree with the Queen on that though. He should have made that happen. He did have a supermajority. He should have made it happen regardless. Then on to the okay, he didn't pass an anti-lynching law, but he expanded hate crime statutes specifically to protect black people and people that
Wait,
were being
that's in
shot
hate
dead.
crime. Anti-lynching is in the hate crime.
Yes, exact. No, but exact. That is a hate crime. What are you talking about?
Yes, it's built into that. Why would you have to solely pass a law for something that's
Exactly. No, but
included?
that's my point. Yeah, right. That's my point. On top of the fact, he
You
brought
know,
up
the
like
burden
I
of
keep
proof,
saying this again and again. He brought
the
us
burden
out
for
of one of the
proof.
worst fiscal crises in history. On top of the fact,
Yeah, but he bailed out the
like,
banks. He bailed out the banks. People lost homes. He bailed out the banks.
but
Whereas you could
sister,
have took
no, no,
that
no, no,
money,
no,
and
no,
you
no,
know
no,
what?
no, no,
Wait,
no, no.
wait, wait,
The,
wait. When
the,
he bailed out the banks, wait, wait, wait. When
you
he bailed
have to
out the
bail out
banks,
the banks. You have to.
no,
You
you
have to have
don't. You don't.
a secure banking system. What happened in the
Guess
depression
what
is we
happened?
did not bail out the banks.
That's
So
true.
We
nobody
That's
had a
was
true.
able to
secure
get
banking
loans.
system. We
Nobody
had a
was able
secure
to get
banking
capital.
system. We had a secure banking system, and CEOs got golden parachutes. People still stayed poor. People still
It,
lost their houses.
That's not true.
Factories
He
still
had a
closed.
moratorium.
Yes,
He had a moratorium on foreclosures, foreclosures. But sister, the point is, we had to bail out the banks. What happened
you didn't.
during the recession is the Republicans were very aloof, and they let the banks go under. That's why you had all those famous scenes of people making runs on the banks and burning them bitches down, or banks just taking the money and running. Like you need to have a secure banking system so people can get financial capital to build businesses or to hire employees, which is the base of the economy. Like that's the base of it. So you need a secure banking system. People like to criticize him for that, but that's just bullshit. That's just more Republican talking points.
No, that is no, that is the corporations talking through you. You did not
No,
have to
it's
bail
not.
out the
That's
bank.
reality.
Guess what? Let me tell you something. You put money in the consumer's pocket, they're going to put money back in the economy and stimulate it. You didn't have to bail out rich banking systems that have their own parachute system. You put money back into the everyday man, we're going to go spend that money. He didn't have to bail out the banks. It's
The
by
banks did not
design.
have a parachute system. The banks were going under specifically because they were giving out
They should have went under.
they were
They should have went under. It was
no
bad. It
no
was
no no
bad.
no no.
It was
They
bad
cannot
business.
go under.
They were selling houses that people couldn't afford. They were making bad money practices. They were not doing their fiduciary duties. They should have went under.
That's
What
because
should
no,
have
but
happened?
that's because of George Bush. George Bush passed discrimination
Absolutely,
laws. Yeah, the George Bush
absolutely.
passed discrimination laws talking about what was it? Boxes got prime credit level or no? What subprime credit level or something like that?
Some
And if
private
you didn't
lending.
give those, yeah, and if you didn't give those people loans, he was gonna have the Department of Justice sue you for civil rights violations. So like
Well, you know what? If
again,
the
it's
money's not there, the money's just not there. So that means you can't. It's called fiduciary responsibility for a reason. If you only have 100 grand and you're trying to buy something worth 4 million, that's not in your wheelhouse, mama. You know what I'm saying? Or papa. You know what I'm saying? So they had a fiduciary responsibility. They were greedy and they knew that they could mock up the prices and they could charge you more interest and they could do these things by you are supposedly a credit risk, but I can charge you more interest and I can get more return on my investment into you. The banks were very irresponsible. He should have let them
but you know
fail.
what but you know what Obama then did to try and shore that up?
Hmm.
He then repealed that guidance from the Department of Justice. And then number two, he created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau
which
specifically to
the
protect people against that.
which they just gutted, which they just gutted.
Like I don't feel
So
like people give Barack Obama enough credit. Like he was handed a foot. Like you talk, the United States of America was a capsized fucking boat,
a
and
hundred
like the
percent,
tip of it was just above the water. Like the tip of the underneath bow was just
a
above some
hundred
fucking water
percent.
before it drowned.
100%. Yeah, he was definitely handed some shit that he turned into Shinola, but there's 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 always room for improvement. Never get it twisted. There's always room for improvement, and when I say that he didn't just, I'm not saying he just failed Black America. I'm saying the little guy got ignored, and I don't know if that means we now have to
I mean,
all
he
go out
gave
and
he
get
gave the little guy health care.
Romney Care, which is a Republican healthcare
He
system
got
that
the
keeps
idea from Romney, but still.
which is a Republican healthcare system that keeps rich people rich. Medicare for all would have been the more, listen,
Now
as
I
a
agree. I
retired
agree with you
military
on that.
member,
The corporatists, they don't go far enough.
I get TRICARE, right?
That's
And
my problem
TRICARE
with
is
the
a form of
corporatists. They
Medicare.
don't go far enough. They should have done Medicare for all. I will agree with
A
you on that.
hundred percent.
But
And
still,
even to this day,
he reduced the amount of people in the United States that were uninsured. Like that's
a
something
hundred
for the
percent.
little guy.
100%. 100%. Like there was marked improvement. Never get it twisted. I don't say he did nothing. I just say he could have did better. And I feel like he got into office and he forgot all those promises he's made. Hope and change, right? It became about, the porter in chief, dropping bombs on wedding parties, this, that, and the other. At what point do you tell the system, no, I'm not going to do this? I'm not going to do this. And so, granted, is he better hand over fist than any president in my lifetime? Absolutely. Was it things that he should have did better that would protect the little guy? Absolutely. And even
Not only
now,
that, he gave the immigrants DACA, and even when you look at the numbers, 92% of the people that were deported from the interior of the United States were criminals. Nowadays, it's maybe like we lucky if it's 30% right now that's getting deported who are actual violent criminals, and the rest 70% have never committed a crime in this country. Probably just a couple of bean pickers out there in California or wherever.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I'm not, listen, I'm never okay with these racist policies that are, disproportionately affecting us and disproportionately affecting people of brown hue. I'm never okay with that. But at the same time, I'm not just going to walk around with rose-colored glasses and pretend like, Barack Obama was just, the best thing since sliced bread. There was definitely room for marked improvement. And now that you're no longer the president of the United States, where everybody's looking at you, tell the truth. Tell the truth. Say the things out loud, the things. And when you start saying the things out loud, people will listen to you because he does have such just people love him
Charisma.
and even white people
Charisma.
love him. So if he got out and actually said the things out loud, listen, we are screwing you guys. There is no need to have these endless wars. We can afford Medicare for all. We can afford education for all. We can afford to, pay for school lunches for all the children. DC has been paying for school lunches for children for years, ever since my children were young enough to be in school. And so it is possible. It is something you can do. The amount of taxes they take out of our checks every payday keeps this country, above and beyond. So to keep touting this that we're about to go broke any day now, we can't pay Social Security any day now. The post office is going to be belly up, even though the post office has been self-sustaining for the better part of 50 years. And
Well, I don't know.
the
The post
lot
office is about to go belly up. Like, have you been
because
hearing
of the because of the practices
retirees?
they put in place.
Right, the post office retirees are not getting their checks. They're not getting their pensions. They haven't
But
been for months.
that is by design. And then on top of that, when Biden was in office for those 4 years, he could have removed DeJoy, who is a corporation type CEO dude who is trying to privatize the post office, and that was where he was put in there to do. But a lot of the Republicans and Democrats want the same thing. Biden has said for years when he was on the Senate floor, he tried to not repeal, but at least cut Social Security. He said it for years. He said it on the Senate floor. But yet people have the memories of Nats and they just move on and they say, orange man bad. So let's vote this guy. He wasn't good either.
But
He wasn't good either. He actually said he will make it his mission not to pass Medicare for all. He said that on the debate stage. And they still voted for him. I voted for him too. I was sick of myself.
But the problem though is, Queen, we agree that it's not perfect, and at many points it's not great. What Barack Obama did in Libya was a disaster, and he himself will even tell you he admitted it that he should have thought more about the day after in Libya. after they went and got Gaddafi. But the problem is, you have on one hand, you have an agent of chaos, or no, not just an agent, agents. I'm gonna throw Bush, Reagan. I'm gonna throw all of them in there, and Trump. They're agents of chaos. Our country actively does it does not even marginally worse. It fucking falls off a cliff when these
Right.
people are in office. Not just in terms of like economic damage, like civil rights damage. Like you got people running around like just looking at brown people and grabbing them. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the other side. Yes, they're not perfect at all whatsoever. Now, personally, I don't believe Biden would have ever got the votes to repeal or to even cut Social Security. Like that's never gonna happen. Even these Republicans, they don't have the
And
balls to do something like
we
that.
can't,
But at
Marky Dan, we can't act like
what?
Joe Biden. We now know that Joe Biden is definitely like we no there's nobody that voted for Joe Biden denied that Joe Biden was in mental decline. That dude sounded like he was out of breath every time. Man, come on, man, get your Medicare, come on, man, man. Like
No,
he was
literally,
just
you remember? I remember he was literally he had a speech during the 2020 election where out of nowhere he was at a public pool giving a speech, and then he just starts going off. And I used to have the kids jump in my lap when I was the lifeguard at the pool, and there used to be roaches in the pool. I was like, "What the fuck is
yeah,
happening
he
right
was out
now?"
of there, bro.
That
And
the
then
one
the
with the
guy
chain
came, he
guy?
was
It was some
dangerous.
guy with chain in his name. When it's some
No,
guy
you
he was
talking
talking
about
about some
corn
guy with
pop. You talking
chain.
about
Corn
corn.
pop.
Yeah, man. He was dangerous, man. Corn pop. Come on, man. Get
Yeah,
corn
yeah,
pop.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, so but yeah, Joe Biden. This is what I was shocked at, Rosie. I was shocked at this. I was shocked that you talk about the memory of Nets. I was shocked that people voted for Joe Biden because Donald Trump did such a bad job his first term that they were like, oh no, because we were running out of masks. They were putting bodies in freezers. Like that is why Joe Biden was elected. It wasn't because he was overly qualified, right? But the
And we
next
had riots
election,
in
when
every major city of the United States of
yes,
America. Don't forget that.
but hold on. The next cycle, when you have somebody who ain't the oldest president to ever exist, because that's what Joe Biden was, and Donald Trump won. So now he's tying Joe Biden's record for old motherfuckers, right? Like, how many people do y'all know with dementia at 40? Very few, right? It's possible, but very few. How many do y'all know at 80? A lot, right?
A
Like,
lot.
why are we electing these old motherfuckers? You talk about overqualified. Kamala was overqualified, and they did not elect her. They went and picked the guy that ran against Joe Biden, who was horrible, and they picked Joe Biden because he was the lesser of two evils, but would not elect Kamala. That right there speaks volumes to me. Because as much as we complain about the system, right? We 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 still feel like there's a little bit of hope for us making it, or we could progress, or it's not as bad as it could be. We always have hope. This shit right here, hide your kids, hide your wife. Like Donald Trump, like go get some gas. I normally put about $40-$50 in my gas. That shit went to half. I'm like, what the fuck? When is the victory gas gonna come in? You said we went over to Venezuela like I thought that was supposed to be to help the economy. What the fuck is going on? But he's gonna go down as the worst president ever. And like me and Marky Dan say all the time, what's gonna happen is memory of Annette, like you said, Rose Key.
Yep.
They're gonna forget that they elected Donald Trump, that he said the things he
No,
said,
no,
and
no.
that
They're not gonna forget. They're gonna pretend like they didn't vote for Donald
yeah,
Trump,
yes, absolutely. But
just like
to
they
the
did with Bush.
Barack Obama thing that y'all were talking about, and this is what I dislike about the public, right? It's easy to go through everybody's life with a fine-tooth comb and find some hiccups, right? Because nobody's perfect, right? Outside of Jesus. Outside of Jesus, you're gonna find some hiccups, right? And even Jesus
I
was
mean, I
tipping
don't
over
know.
shit.
Jesus, you remember when he went in that temple with that stick
I was just,
and
bro.
was
I
trying
was
to
just
get them
about to say
boys
that.
out of there?
Even Jesus was tipping over shit when they was gambling inside the tomb, man. Jesus got turned up. He was tired of the snakes on them flames. So but
Y'all gonna do this
um,
shit in my father's house?
exactly. I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucker. But nah, but other than that, man, everybody is subject to like be a villain to somebody. And the reason why I know this, Martin Luther King. You know a nigga that lived more righteous than that nigga? Like I was trying to explain on Ben. I'm gonna stop bringing my ideas to Ben channel because I might as well just take the idea, write it on a piece of paper and burn it, right? But You know a nigga that's more principled than Martin Luther King? That nigga took the Nobel Peace Prize money that he was awarded and gave it back to his cause that he eventually took a bullet in the head for. You know what people nowadays are saying about Martin Luther King? That he was a plant, that he was having orgies. They
I'll
spit
put
on
hands on
Martin
them
Luther
niggas if they
King's
ever say that in
name.
front of me.
Well,
They
he was
spit
having
on his name
orgies,
and his
but that did
legacy.
not stop. Well, he was having orgies, but that did not negate the wonderful things he achieved for our community and for
So
Man,
people as a
eh,
whole.
but this is what I'm trying to say. The same thing has happened with Barack Obama. Donald Trump is on record blowing a man named Bubba. Right? Donald Trump was having freak offs. Like, do you realize that we had to
He
watch
was a
Diddy
snow
be
bunny lover.
we had to watch Diddy be dragged out using federal dollars. They was tipping over the fish tank. They was kicking the dog in the back of his, you know what I mean, stepping on the
damn.
dog tail, using a whole bunch of government resources, and they kept saying freak off, freak off, freak off. Now you see Republicans cross dressing. You see them having PDF charges. You see they're the real freaks. They having the real Donald Trump having the real freak offs, and we gotta pigeonhole Martin Luther King for orgies. Like, man, and I don't believe anything that comes out on Martin Luther King, only because this man was being watched heavily by the same people who have did COINTELPRO to infiltrate the black. I'm supposed to believe those people about what they say about Martin Luther King? Get the man,
Well, they
no.
did say history has shown that black men have gone to the Supreme Court to be able to marry white women. So it's quite possible that that brother risked life and limb so he could lay with Sally Joe May. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I
I,
mean, at
well,
least
I,
from
I
what we
think no. Hold
hear,
on. Let
it's
me say this.
mainly
Let me say this.
blacks.
There's no way. There's no way I believe that. The fact that Martin Luther King, the fact that Martin Luther King, like if you listen to his readings, if you listen to his speeches and stuff, he wasn't. He wasn't a self proclaimed leader of the movement. They chose him for a reason. You think he was like you? When the fuck do he have time to have all these orgies and stuff? These people were organizing. He was meeting with other black people, and they were organizing together. When the fuck did he have all these white orgies? That's what I want to know. When did they have time to
Well,
invite these white people?
according to J. Edgar Hoover, is when he was
Oh,
staying
hold
at
on, hold
that
on, hold on.
hotel
Before you
room
say what
in D.C.
J. Edgar Hoover said, give some context about give some
I know,
context
I
about.
know, I know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just know because
goes all
also
the way
also
back
the
to Marcus
government.
Garvey when he
Your
put him in jail.
your hero Marky Dan Fred Hampton. Explain what happened to him and how the government played a role in that shit. Like, bro, why? When
Oh
did
no,
we
that shit
become?
went all the way up to Nixon.
When did we become so trusting of the government? Like, I don't understand that. Like, when did we believe white men about how black men are supposed to be? When
Well,
did they
no, but
become the
the
standard?
claim with Martin Luther King is that there's tapes. There's actual
Yep.
tapes of what he was doing
Oh, you
in
could
those
never
Yep.
hotel
fake that.
rooms.
You could never fake that. That could never be fake.
Maybe not back then. Now, yes, but back in the
I
60s,
mean,
It's
I don't
yeah,
think you
yeah.
recordings.
could.
They no, it's voice recordings of Martin Luther King. They absolutely could fake that.
Well, I don't know, Box Scott, because it was his assistant who just recently sued to get the tapes released, and he himself said that the truth needed to come out. So I mean,
Mark
like,
it down.
listen, no
Mark it
man,
down.
no, 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 no,
Mark it
no,
down.
but no man is perfect. No man is perfect, Boxer Scholar,
Mark it
and
down.
I'm not gonna claim that he's perfect.
Donald Trump released the MLK files against the wishes of the family. Why ain't these experts that talking about these orgies ciphering through this shit and telling us about the great details of believing Hoover about Martin Luther King when Martin Luther King was just saying treat me equal
The
and I love
tapes weren't
Jesus
included
and
in that. There was no tapes in that.
but it's like the Epstein files, so they have government documentation that would at least verify the tapes, correct?
Yeah.
But why ain't nobody ciphering through that shit? Like, this is what I'm saying, bro. Like, why do we have to be pigeonholed, bro? Barack Obama, not only was he not blowing Bubba, but he, as far as we can see, the family had no scandal. I see Michelle Obama talk about how she didn't even want to do speeches because they would take her voice and her words out of context. Like, there was a bunch of pressure on this family. You know what I mean? Outside of just being the president, also
The
being black.
worst
Why
thing
would
that
we?
they
Why
could
would
get
we
on the
add?
Obamas was when Malia was at a music festival smoking weed, or Barack Obama in like a tan suit, or when Barack Obama put Dijon mustard on his fucking hamburger. They went wild for a month on that. Like, those are the worst scandals you could probably find.
So Hoover, to the person that put that about MLK, Hoover also said that Malcolm X was doing gay stuff for money, like prostituting himself. Do you believe that?
And you know the hilarious part about that, Box Scholar? J. Edgar Hoover was gay, and he was
Exactly.
openly
Yeah,
gay.
cross dresser, cross
Actually,
dresser. Yeah,
actually, 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 Malcolm X actually admitted that in his book. Prior to him going to jail, he did some things, did some strange things for change. So yeah.
he never said gay, but that was written in a white person's book. I can't remember the author, but he
Just
wrote
because you
about
white
he.
don't mean it's a lie.
Yeah,
And it's not
yes,
such a
it does.
far stretch
It
if you
does,
were
sister.
on
It does.
drugs and you were
It
trying
does, sister.
to,
So
go
If a
along
they
to
white
get
man
used to
ever
along.
told
give.
y'all anything about me, y'all know he lying. Why he invested anyway? Why he invested anyway? You know what I mean? And this is why I say we got to be pigeonholed and held to a higher standard. We got to be perfect. We got to be like Jesus. We got to be like
Yeah, but I
Jesus in
want
order to
to say,
have.
yeah, but I want to say that your average black person is not poo-pooing Barack Obama. Is not poo-pooing Malcolm X. Is not pooing Martin Luther King. They
What
are
you mean?
held
Would you
in
say that?
reverence.
No, it's the
When I
FBA
say when I
coons.
say
The
we don't let
FBA
people detract
coons.
from them. Well, I'm not paying no mind to that, but just for the most part, your average black person uplifts them and holds them in very high regard, no matter
I
what.
disagree. I
Bro,
disagree, sister. I
The
disagree.
Arabs on my island. Do you know what they say when they say Martin Luther King's name? They say
Hmm.
Martin Luther King, peace be upon him. They view this nigga like a prophet.
See,
No, but he talking about a different race. I'm talking about black people. Black people are disrespectful. Like this is part of that black fatigue I was
I
telling you
agree.
about. They don't listen. Don King said this a long time ago. I remember being a kid and Elvis was still popping. He said Elvis make more money in death than niggas can make in their life because they hold their stars. Elvis was out there sleeping with underage girls, just like what's the dude? Great Balls of Fire. Oh man, I'm
Jerry
having
Lee
a brain.
Lewis,
Jerry Lee
Jerry Lee
Lewis
Lewis,
married his 13-year-old
his
cousin.
cousin.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, and he immortalized, but black people for some reason they pigeonhole. If we make it to a position, we got to be perfect. We got to do everything right. We're not allowed to make mistakes. We're not allowed to be human. I just want people
Well,
to start
some things I'm
humanizing our
okay with
Yeah,
leaders.
you remember
pigeonholing.
Jonathan Majors?
Some things
You
I'm
remember
okay
when he
with
ran from that
pigeonholing.
white woman and he lost
You
his
check this out.
career?
Check this out. Check this out, Rose T. You know, like I know, human beings like the idea of freedom, autonomy, do whatever they want to do, type stuff, right? We like it. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, if you're in a position, let's say you're the supervisor, Rose T, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you to do something, would that make you more likely to do what I tell you to do, or more reluctant to double down? Like, well, I'm gonna do whatever I want to. I'm the supervisor.
Hit me with that one more time. Say that one more time.
Does it make you more accepting to do what somebody tells you to do if they're telling you to do it and not suggesting?
I don't know. I'm military minded, so I kind of just do what I'm supposed to do. Um, I mean, maybe not in work ways, but if it's just, I'm
I mean,
interacting
it
with
depends
someone,
where the
not
voice.
Work. Right,
It depends where the voice is coming from, and that's
right,
you started the analogy with a supervisor. Like if it was a
right.
regular
You
nigga
kind
on
of
the
got to do
streets,
it.
yeah, I'm not just gonna do what you tell me to do,
Right.
nigga.
Please and
So
thank
that the
you
reason why I put
every time.
supervisor is because most people, human beings, are not gonna do something if you tell them to do it, right? We've seen white people, right? We've seen them with the law. The law, like a police officer, hey man, I need you to do. Oh, you don't tell me what to do. You don't tread on my like. We've seen that, right? Like human beings don't like to be told, to
Yeah,
be
that's
told what
white
to do, even
privilege.
if they're
We
in the
don't
right
have
or
that.
wrong.
That's white privilege. We don't have that privilege.
Oh no, that's people privilege. Ain't no
Nah, I
nobody
see
just
niggas do that
listening.
too.
Black women don't do that, especially in a relationship.
Well, that's different. You started off with boss because in a work center, I can be assertive, but I'm that aggressive black woman. The white chick across
You,
from me can be assertive and she's being assertive, or the white man across from me is being assertive, but I'm being aggressive. So it definitely is situational dependence or situationally dependent. I think we lost Boxing Scholar. Where you at?
I think we did as well.
Okay. Well, listen, it is definitely getting late. We definitely went for longer than the 45 minutes I thought I was going to go. You guys are amazing. Um, let me just wrap things up with if you guys have any final words you want to give to our audience.
What I would say to anybody listening, if you feel a little bit lost or you maybe feel politically homeless, I would give you some bullet points to just, well, these are my, I'm going to give you my bullet points. I can't speak for you. I can't speak for your situation, but I want a candidate and candidates that are coming up in this November election. I want people, number one, no somebody that is not owned by Israel. They have to be able to call out the genocide that is happening in Gaza and the apartheid happening in the West Bank and in Israel. They have to be able to say that this Iran war was a terrible idea and is a disaster. And number three, they have to come out with progressive policies. And when I say progressive policies, I'm not talking about just standing for the LGBTQ community, which
Right,
I stand with them as well. I have a lot of family in the community, but
right,
So the
for a
Republicans.
while that became the platform of what a progressive meant. That's not what progressivism is. Progressivism is meaning proposing policies that take us out of the status quo. So look for candidates that are talking about taking us towards renewable energy. Okay, us continuing to be on these grids that are powered by coal and natural gas, it's terrible. And you see how unstable it is when you have people that are causing wars in the Middle East that cause oil markets globally to spike. So look for a candidate that's proposing renewable energy solutions, at least 100% renewable energy solutions by the year 2040 or hopefully the year 2038. And number four, look for somebody that is going to get a war path on nationalizing healthcare. The other day, matter of fact, I'm 26 years old, so I just aged out of my father's Cigna. So I'm on right now. Matter of fact, I don't even have Medicare. I was about to say I'm on Medicare. I don't have that. I haven't gone for that yet. But the other day, when I was walking to my car, I fell and twisted my ankle when I stepped in a gut. I called our health clinic down here, and they said I would have to pay $150 for the doctor to see me, and then the medication that they would probably give me, which would probably just be ibuprofen, that would have costed more because I'm not on my father's Cigna. I just ate Tylenol and lie down and rested on it and prayed on it. But like if you're like a 26-year-old who has diabetes, you're
Mm,
gonna die. You're dead. Like there's not like so those are the three main issues that you should look for in a candidate. Number
they
one, they
all,
cannot be a slave to Israel, and those other two
oh well,
very important
that's
progressive
all of them.
policies I
They
just
all
named.
gone. They all
Go
gone.
ahead.
They all
That's
gone.
not
If you
true. That's not true.
They all
That's
gone.
not true.
They'll never make
no,
it not
that's not
supporting
true.
Israel. But that's
That's
neither
not
here
true.
nor there. They'll
That's
never. I mean, they'll never make it supporting Israel. Like I
not
mean,
true.
Marky Dan, you're the one that sent me all the
No, we
presidents
have
that
we
kissed the
have a
wall.
very progressive movement that's going against APAC and Israel
Uh,
right now, Box Scout.
That
That's not
part.
Can,
true.
can I tell
That's
y'all
not
some? Can I tell y'all something? The progressive movement is always hopeful, and I said it's good in theory, but getting money out of politics, the America, you have to have the support of the people. And what the statistics say is the people can't read at what is it like a fifth grade level? People read at a fifth grade level, and their comprehensions is even lower than that, right? Because I mean, they voted for Donald Trump, but the comprehensions is even lower than that. You expect those people, those are your soldiers that you're gonna go with and get money out
knowledge
of
is power.
politics. Good effing luck. That's all I got to say
Knowledge is
about that.
power. Knowledge is power. Each one teach one. So
How
more
you gonna
people have
teach
to
them?
share
I mean,
that. Just doing what we're
we
doing right
are
now.
in the
Well, hold
age
on.
of
The gas
data, Box
prices are
Scholar. It's
rising,
so
and
easy to
okay, Surf Out Player is a prime example of that, Marky Dan.
yeah.
The gas
I'm
prices
glad you
are
said that.
rising. We've had episode after episode trying to educate this man. He's there to teach. He's not there to listen. These people are not going to be led anywhere. They think that you guys are the dumb ones, the progressives. They think socialism is bad for the country. That movement will never be popular in America.
Like he's so
America's too
fucking dumb.
dumb.
He thinks that illegal immigrants get Medicare or Medicaid. It's literally in federal statute and in most state statutes they cannot. So like it's just a talking point. It's another lie by
Right.
Donald Trump that they
It's the
just bite
messaging.
into.
It's the messaging. The
Or the
messaging is
bullshit.
key.
We had 30, 40 million because that's something about Trump. He keeps like anytime he talks, literally mid sentence, he will add numbers onto the number he just said.
Millions
We
and
had
billions.
30, 40, and maybe even 50 million illegals coming under Biden. And
Millions
some
and
football player would
billions.
just lap that shit up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Those are the people that y'all have to depend on. Like, good luck.
Man, I ain't depending on some football player. Hell no.
America's not smart enough to be progressive. The progressive voices are heard, and then even sometimes you see cannibalism within the progressive movement. When you
You
say,
do.
okay, well, y'all with us? What about reparations? Hold on, goddamn it, hold on.
Right.
We don't
There's a lot of
we don't want
racism.
no. We like, wait a minute. We thought y'all was the good guys. So,
Right.
like I said, TYT is a prime example because I've been following them for like what since
Me
like
too. I used to be a
2008,
member and
2009.
everything.
They were great. They were
Yeah.
anti-corporate, all that stuff.
They're who
And then
convinced me who convinced me to become this progressive that I am today. So imagine my surprise that Jink has reverted back to being a freaking
a Republican,
Republican and
once a
Anna done
Republican,
lost
always.
her freaking mind.
Yep. And,
Yeah,
and,
it's
and
a
you
shame, but
seen
we're
before
never
they did
gonna
that, they
we're
started
never gonna have that.
sympathizing. They
We're
started
never gonna
saying
have
stupid
that.
shit like if we say everybody's a dictator, we won't know what a real dictator is. Like, no, wait, Donald Trump says himself, I want to be a dictator on day one. You don't have to defend that.
Yeah,
He's
now they
saying
look
it.
like fucking retards.
Yes,
I think
yes, they
they
look.
don't stand on anything, and they used to stand by the progressive principle. And Jink saw that Jimmy Dore jumped off ship and started making money. He saw Dave Rubin jumped off ship and started making money, so he wanted to start making money too. And Anna's just a fucking lost fool, which is
He's just a
crazy because
moron. He's just a
she was the
dumb
one I
fucking
used
broad.
to identify with the most. And
Oh,
so the fact that she has just totally turned into some Republican shill has made me disgusted. But then look at Bill Maher. Bill Maher has turned into
another
a whole
example. I seen Bill
addict.
Maher coming from a mile away.
Man,
See,
Bill Maher
this
ain't
is
no
what
shit.
happened. This is what happens. White people that are when you're younger, you're
No,
more
he's a
liberal.
well. Let me not
You
say
when
that.
you're
Let me
younger,
say
you're
that.
more liberal. The older you get, the more
True,
conservative you. You don't like your things move. You
true.
like things to remain they is. So by default, a person like Bill Maher, a white male, is more likely gonna be more conservative the older
Sir,
you
football
get.
player, did you know that Donald Trump is actually pushing for reparations for the soldiers of the Union?
No, he
Do you
doesn't
I'm
like
know.
that?
sure.
Like
But you
if
know
that's
that'll
not the
never
most
happen. So
white,
it's literally the
no, but
symbolism.
like if
It's the
that's not the
symbolism.
most white supremacist thing I have ever heard in my entire life, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
The idea that
yeah, but it
that
works. It works because you know what? They're gonna say he's fighting for us. He's fighting for white people's rights. We don't have to be ashamed to be white anymore, knowing it'll never pass. So he don't actually have to put up.
I don't
It's
think
how they get
no.
us.
Rose T, I don't he doesn't care about checks and balances. He literally is trying to help the white people actively sue through the government. Nike, like he does not care. He has white supremacist talking points and he has no
You know,
he's not shy about using the government to support them. Like
yeah,
when
but
like you
Trump
said
stands
with
for
JD,
nothing. That's a ploy. He stands for nothing. You think he gives a fuck if those dumb yokels get $1? He won't
yeah,
even
I
let them
think
in Mar-a-Lago. He doesn't give
I
a
Like
kind of
fuck.
think he
what
It's
does.
is
I
literally
think
how
one
he keeps
simple
them voting for him. It's
I think he
literally
one
how
does.
he
simple
can float
thing
the
one
idea.
simple
He
thing
breaks these laws. Hold on one second. He breaks these laws so he can push the envelope elsewhere. So he can get that third term, right? So he'll push something in one direction to see how far it can go so he can actually get the things achieved that he really wants. He doesn't give a fuck about them. He would have them shot on sight if they tried to cross Mar-a-Lago's doorstep. So
Well,
when I tell you he don't care, he don't fucking care.
but he does because he pardoned all the people from January 6th. Like
Because it was going
he
to get
doesn't
him
because
he
elected.
they were
does
for him.
but
They
hold on.
literally were willing to
No,
go to
he
war
was
for him.
already elected in the second term when he pardoned him. He didn't have to do that. He does in the
No, but like
abstract. Donald
you
Trump
know
in
what?
the
You're right.
abstract does
You're right.
care about he cares about white people because he's a white supremacist. And that's his base. So in the
Mm,
and he's
I
vain
don't think
too.
he cares.
We're talking about a guy who put his name in gold letters and big words on a capital size font on the side of his building. Writes his name on everything. That guy definitely does care. Like to be
Bro,
honest with you,
He cares
the
about
only checks
himself.
and balances that we have on Donald Trump is that he's vain and he cares. Because really he just showed that the president could do whatever they want to. Like the
one of the
Supreme Court has no
most
power because they don't have a government that they could excuse me, an army that they can enforce or do anything with. You're basically going on the structure of you have to listen to me because other people have listened to me in the past. And because 9/11 and the Patriot Act, Congress has slowly given more and more power to the president to where we can have a king like Donald Trump. So Donald
they
Trump is
just
just
by the way,
exposing that.
they just passed re-up section 702. is about to go to Donald Trump's desk, which is the Spy Act, which is what they use to spy on us through our smartphones. But I mean, I'll just end off by saying, one simple thing we could do, at least it's not reparations, but it's something like all those black people that got ran off their land by the Klan, like after their grandfathers got murdered and lynched, and then the white folks came in and stole the land, and then the state legislatures passed statutes of limitation laws to prevent them from suing and getting their land back or from getting reparations and damages. Like, I mean, like that's something simple. Like we could just make it illegal to have those. Like the federal government could pass a law that makes it illegal to have those statutes of limitations in place. Like that's
Yo,
just
yo,
something simple that somebody could come propose.
yo, Marky Dan.
But even that is like a pipe dream.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you see exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all fighting for progressive. Look at Sir Foul Player. Would you really go to war with that person? He's sitting up here talking about Joe Biden, bro. Like, why we gotta go back to Joe Biden? It's so crazy
Because he's
because
a troll. Like I've just determined
no,
Sir
no,
Foul
he
Player is a
really
troll.
believes it. He really believes that. Listen, Sir Foul Player, you can't pull up over here. Unfortunately, we had to pass an IQ test before we got on the panel, brother. And I don't know.
But like, how can he
But
keep talking about Biden's like mental acuity when you literally just have this big fucking dumb? Like the other day, like he mistakes. He says that we defeated Japan in World War I. He said he falls asleep literally every other fucking day. Like when he signs an executive order, do you see this? Like somebody hands him the executive order. He acts like he's never seen it before. He's like, "What is this?" They explain it to him. And he says, "Oh, that sounds like a good idea." And then he signs it. Like, what are we talking
that
about?
is
This
hilarious.
guy's just a big fucking dog. Like, he's a baboon.
Yeah, bro.
But Survivor
All right,
Player
Jess, let's
will
go ahead
fight
and
to
give
the
our
death for
closing
it.
arguments. I gotta go get my nails done in the morning.
Oh, shout out to you,
Absolutely. Like, I
sis.
could be up here all night. But go ahead, sis.
I
I
know
gave my
y'all
closing.
are amazing. I really appreciate you, and you're definitely welcome back.
Fuck Trump, Trump, Trump in 2026, you dumb. Like, I just can't believe you, Survivor. You are a troll. Like, there's no way. You're just a troll.
Yeah, nah, he ain't a troll. He really serious, bro. They really believe that. But yeah, so I'll close with this, Rose T. I used to align, like I said, TYT was my introduction to the progressive movement. Jank really had me believing that progressive ideas were really popular. And I bought into that whole thing, but he ran for president and got slaughtered. Right. And I seen him on Roland Martin and they were talking about being progressive. And I look at it like kind of like what the feminist movement was to black women. Feminist movement was supposed to be about, equality for women. But somehow those women still found it within that marginalized group to marginalize black women. And progressive movement does that to us too as well. It's the lesser of two. The progressive movement is the lesser of two evils when you really get into the minutia of it, right? And this is why I don't look for perfection out of the politics of this all. I look at what's going to be better for black people going forward. And I don't pigeonhole Barack Obama. I think outside of his political career, because I think it was a pretty decent political career. But outside of that, the family, the no scandals, the no cheating, the no any of that, which is what they want from us, which is why they still shitting on Martin Luther King from a dude who made him a terrorist, and all he said was, "Let's just all just get along." He didn't say that. That's not a literal quote. That's just
No,
but
he
all he
said,
wanted was
land where my fathers died, land
yeah,
of the pilgrim's pride.
amazing speaker. And when I listen to that stuff, it give me chills. They wanna tarnish that man's legacy and give him neighborhoods and streets that get shot
Let
up every other
freedom
week.
reign, boxing
But
scholar.
but I just want more grace out of black people because we no matter where we go, we gonna be pigeonholed in the group and they're not gonna respect us. They'll respect us just enough to get their mission accomplished, but they're not gonna bend over backwards for us, and that's just the reality of it. It ain't no party perfect, and that's my closing statement.
I agree. Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much for
much.
having us up here, sis.
Marky Dan, thank you. Please, gents, please come back. You guys were amazing. I could not have done my first show without you. Thank you so much. And now it's us. You guys, I really appreciate you for coming out for my debut show. We're gonna do more of these. At this point, I don't know the frequency. I have to pick a good time, a good date to actually start doing these. I want to try to do it at least once a week. Give you guys at least an hour for once a week. So some new and exciting topics. Marie already gave me my first homework assignment to give her a full report on the mayor out of Baltimore, or governor, my bad, the governor of the state, Westmoreland, I think that's his name. So I will be working on that. So thank you guys for coming out. Mwah. I love you so much. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Please go over to Marky Dan's channel and subscribe. Please go over to the Boxing Scholars channel and subscribe. Thank you for all my wonderful mods. You guys are amazing. Mwah. Thank you for nobody showing their ass in the chat so we didn't have to strike somebody. You guys are great. Thank you. Mwah. I love you. Good night.